Beloved TV personality Susan Hay is celebrating 35 years here at Global. Over the years, she's interviewed stars from Martin Short to Elton John to Goldie Hawn, but her real passion has always been shining a spotlight on people in her community.
Now, Susan's long-running Making a Difference segment features ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and the extraordinary Susan Hay joins us here this morning to celebrate. Susan, can you believe this? 35 years. Congratulations.
Who told you that? It can't be 35. I'm already tired thinking about it.
Oh my gosh. Well, just in the commercial break, we were reminiscing because we've worked in the same building and we've worked together for many, many years.
Shared an office.
Shared an office, multiple offices.
Oh, I want to hear these stories then.
These stories
You don't have enough time. But congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What a milestone. Let's take us back. You grew up in Northern Ontario. Where's
North Bay.
North Bay. When you think back of Susan then,
yes.
Did she imagine the career you've had?
Never. Never wanted to be in this sort of field. I was always a very creative child. Would always play pranks on my sisters, always tape recording at that time and then play it back to them later. But never, I always wanted to work with children. And it's a very long story that I'm going to make very short. I got onto this path and, 35 years later, here I am and having the best time of my life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell us a bit more about, combining your passion for storytelling and telling the stories of people serving their communities, which is just so great.
How lucky am I that every day I get to meet somebody who's extraordinary. Change makers, right? People that aren't looking for any accolades, they're just doing something because they want to help others. And how did I get into this? I don't even know. I just wanted to get out of the studio. I was doing weather for many years and loved it and was traveling on the road with doing weather segments. But I wanted to get out and tell the stories and be with the people. So I created Making a Difference, and at the time we called it Heart of the City. And then with different management, they wanted a different title, same show. 23 years later, here we are. I think these stories are changing lives. They've changed mine, they've shaped mine. But we're giving people a platform to say what's meaningful out there. I think when 9/11 hit, the world changed. And I think we became better people, and these stories were needed. But after the pandemic, they have soared. They've resonated. People want this form of storytelling because our world is upside down right now.
It's so true. Even we've done the Hometown Hero Spotlight. People want to hear good stories. They want to be uplifted and motivated. And you've done that for so much of your career. Where would you say that passion came from?
I think my parents, my foundation, was so extraordinary growing up, and it was solid, and my parents were givers. And so I think you do what you know, but you do what you know if you feel it. And I think I always had that. So charity was always a big part of my life, even when I was, doing weather for both the shows daily. I would, in between shows, go and do charity events or on weekends with things that resonated for me. And generally speaking, they were children-based.
One of the more profound experiences you've had in your career, I know, is the time you spent in Africa back 2003 through 2006. Looking at some video here.
Yes.
Tell us about your work there, if you could, Susan, and how
Oh.
that's impacted you.
That work over there changed my life starting in 2003. And I remember every child and every person I met overseas, and that was quite the journey. And those stories are so tucked away in my heart, so deep. But I think when I went over to Africa is when everything opened up for me. I think I went at a time when I needed a change in my life, both professionally and maybe personally. And I remember when World Vision asked me to go over, I wasn't quite ready at that time, but I said, please ask me again. And they came back 3 months later and they said, what will it take for you to come over with us and feel good about it? We're going to put you on the phone with Dave Toyson, the president of World Vision. And he said, Susan, I'm going to tell you, this trip is going to change your life. And I said, okay. And he said, okay. I said, I'm going. And it truly did. And those were the best times, some of my best work.
Also want to mention, amongst the awards and accolades you've received, you recently received an honorary doctorate from your hometown university.
Yeah, Nipissing.
What did that mean to you?
That meant so much to me because I was in my hometown, you know, amongst peers. My whole family was there. It was a special day. And when they said, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Susan Hay, I gasped and started to cry because I didn't ever expect to hear that. But it was a really extraordinary day. I addressed the students as they were graduating, as they were, you know, all walking across the stage after 4 years of hard work and a lot of it through the pandemic. So that's really a special moment. And I'm going back there in a couple of weeks to speak.
Wow. Great. Well, listen, well-deserved, and it goes without saying. I mean, 35 years, you are a cornerstone of this network, the global network. I don't know, there's a special feeling in the building anytime Susan Hay comes in, right?
For sure.
Yes.
She makes a difference wherever she goes.
Living up to the title of that.
It's been good to be here. Thank you.
Susan, congratulations.
Love you guys.
Likewise.